We're here at Chorus Key today for our judging session. This is for the audition round. We've been waiting a long time. We're finally here. We're going to pick our 20 to move through and our wild card. So it's a big day for us here.
Brandon, I'm back as a judge. So I work at Chorus as a production executive, which is YTV, Teletoon, Cartoon Network Canada, and Treehouse. And then I'm a writer and director as well on my own.
Kirsten Hurd from TV Ontario, doing acquisitions, programming, and production execing as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Jay Stevens, I'm a cartoonist, writer-artist, and the creator-executive-producer of Secret Saturdays and Tuttenstein.
Jillian Rainseth, Vice President of Creative Affairs at Entertainment One Family, developing and supervising the current series of our kids' slate.
Fantastic. And we have via Google Hangout.
Hi, I'm Christopher Updike. I'm Senior Director of Original Programming and Development at Universal Kids, and I oversee all of development for kids 2 to 12.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I know we have a lot of nervous creators at home who are looking forward to getting this feedback, so we're going to dive right in. We're going to go through them one at a time. Feel free to just jump in, discuss if there's anything you feel totally passionate that you have to say. Like, don't hold back, okay? But we're going to try to get a little bit of feedback for everybody, and we're going to call the votes as we go. We're going to do it just by a show of hands as to what's passing, what's moving through. We'll deal with the runner-up ones as we go through it. Do you all have them indicated in your own notes as to which one is your?
Yes, the only ones ranked are the
rankings. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Kim will be taking that down as we go. So we're going to start right off the bat with ALIA and VERO. So ALIA and VERO is actually a returning. Kira Grenning was one of our wildcard champs last year, and she's improved. It's amazing to see it come back. Tremendous improvement as a creator. But yeah, I'm not going to jump in. So why don't we just start on the end, Brandon?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Kira is the creator of Return, and it's been a huge improvement. Like, that was my first point. Like, it's massive, the improvement that's happened from last year, I would say. And there's a nice dynamic between the characters as well, I would say. Like, they're nice foils for each other. That's what I found the most interesting thing, was the dynamic. The dragon moment was fun. I think it's like there's a nice glimpse into the magical world. It's just figuring out what the show is gonna look like, I guess, from there. But in general, like, Kira's done a huge improvement, I would say. That's a big thing that stuck out to me.
Anybody want to just jump in? What do you feel?
I agree. I felt like the characters' point of views were really nicely differentiated. Not just their voices, but what they were saying. Yeah. I really could see these two established characters already.
For sure.
Agreed. I liked VERO. Oh, sorry.
I thought they had a great sense of humor together, and they interplayed really well, and there was a slightly interesting use of shading going on in the cartoon itself. There was some stuff going on there that was interesting as a, growing point, that was a great starting off point.
Nice, nice.
I love the third character, just in the background.
The mysterious character. I really liked VERO, the more sarcastic sister, a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of her. I like the kind of odd couple roommate thing that's going on. I still don't get what it's about.
Yeah, that was mine.
I'm not sure I understand the show, but that was not the point of this exercise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I was curious about what the point of the exercise was, because one of the things that I learned to do was actually read the description after the video instead of before, because I started measuring some of these videos against what the description of the series was. So if I read the description of this series and then watched the video, I thought, well, where are some of these dynamics? Not between the characters necessarily, but who are they, what are they, what will the series be about? That's what I felt like was missing in some of the written answers to the questions.
Right, right. But all in all, everyone seems to be solid characterization here, good interplay.
I'd like to see more. I was on the fence, but I'd like to see more.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
So should we just jump right into a vote?
Yeah, vote.
So
who voted
for it to go through? We got 2 here and 1 there.
Okay.
And then so the other 2 in terms of your rankings.
I had it as the best of them.
Yeah. So 1, you had it as 1 in your 5.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And 1 in your 5.
The best of the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best in your runners-up.
Yep.
Correct.
We'll call them that.
Okay.
Runner-up number 1.
Okay. Top spot in the runner-up. Awesome. Okay. We'll get into a rhythm on this one.
Okay.
So Casey and Max. Who's got something to say?
I thought this one was really cute, and I thought it fit the demo that you're looking at very well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously a bit younger than a lot of them, but I think that was the point. I mean, we're talking about 6 to 11-year-olds, which is a huge range in a lot of ways. But this kind of had a bit of a Calvin and Hobbes sort of feel for me, which are great characters. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's. Go ahead.
There's a delay.
Okay.
We'll get the balance out between this, how this works.
Guys, I would agree. It feels a little young, but it's really fun. I would just say that having a big secret about having this like fantastical friend is pretty common in animated shows for 6 to 11. So they treat it as like a huge secret, but it's like, what about this particular instance of this happening is unique to this because it happens a lot. It's one of the more general pitches we get for sure.
So as a piece of
constructive criticism would be that just like what is unique about this pairing more than like any other pairing of this type of dynamic, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Christopher?
No, I agree with everyone so far. I did think that there was a lot of awkward pauses throughout that weren't justified, and I thought that with the tightening of those pauses, things could have moved a little bit better. So that's really where I noticed the biggest thing that I would give critique on.
Right. So just tightening up the comedic timing.
Yeah.
To make it just kind of punch a little faster, a little better that way. Because I mean, that's comedy. Most often needs to be tight that way. You can pull off pauses. You can pull up, but it's a kind of a trickier one to.
When it moves very well. There's a lot of energy, and it was really fun to watch when it's moving. And I love the designs; they're really great. But yeah, it's had some awkward pauses for sure.
Okay. So, show of hands going through. We got 4 in the room going through. Christopher?
I have this as number 2.
Number 2 runner-up from Christopher. Okay, cool. All right, this is going. This is good. HAZAN is our third one.
I love weird stuff. I love HAZAN. I think it's great. I was a really weird 10-year-old, though. So I think I would love it. I mean, it doesn't move much.
Sure.
But I was laughing immediately.
So when you consider the constraints of what we're asking people to do, to execute on something in like 3.5 weeks, that's part of their challenge. I mean, some of these people clearly have they go hard into the animation. But what we are really trying to look for is how do you deal with this creative challenge as a creator? So if you can bring the writing to the table and sort of work around the fact that you don't want to create something that's too asset heavy and too movement heavy. Some of these guys, this is what they kind of have to come up with.
I mean, he leads with mispronouncing Francisco's name over and over, and I was already laughing. This is so stupid.
Which is something that actually we also do internally. Last year, I had to correct our UK producers over and over again as to how his name is Francisco. And I didn't think that was going to be that challenging, but so that struck a chord for me personally.
Yeah, I think it makes you laugh right away, which is huge, and also just the voice is so great. Like as far as like all the voices go, it's probably one of the strongest ones, and that goes so far. That's half the experience. So, and I agree. Like considering how minimal it is, like the absurdity of it just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So that's worth a vote.
I totally agree. At first I thought, well, there's not a lot of animation happening, but if the exercise is to come up with an interesting character, he was definitely interesting. I agree with everybody else. I was also laughing. And at first I thought, how do I feel about this voice? it's a little flatlining, but I think that's sort of where some of the comedy came from.
Can we hear it? Hit play.
Francisco, Francisco. Thanks for having me on, Francesca. My name is HAZAN, and I thought.
Okay. And even like the little camera moves, that was like, because those were some of our specifics. We said like keep it simple, straight. I mean, they even did a little bit of background, which we had asked sort of not to do and to keep it as simple as possible. But that was one of the things. If you want to use camera moves that way, and they responded very well using the tools that we made available. What about you, Christopher? Anything from the?
Well, I couldn't hear what everyone said at all. So from my point of view, I thought that it was a very unique point of view that this person took, and that I did have a hard time understanding some of the words occasionally, but I just thought that there was a real great sense of humor here and something I would love to see nurtured.
Cool. Anything from you?
Nope.
In total agreement?
I agree with everybody. Yep. No, I think it's very quirky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so show of hands. Unanimous. All right. Ellie and Todd, Eli and Todd. How are we pronouncing it? Did they say it in the video this time?
I don't think they did.
I don't know.
We're going with Eli.
Okay. Who wants to jump in? You're biting your lip.
I'm afraid that this is probably going to be cut because I'm going to get super honest. My exact comment was not sure why this got so many claps. Only an animatic, poorly answered questions, no reference at all to what the show is actually about or the two characters' relations to each other.
Yeah, I agree.
A little harsh.
Boom.
Yeah, no, I would say ditto to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad.
Well, there was nothing there really to work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have to say something nice and constructive?
We're looking for something constructive.
Well, I think more character development. I mean, we are left not really knowing who the characters are and when, exactly what their relationship is with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. More character development. There's not much to comment on because there wasn't much given. So it needs a little more work in that area.
I think that most of what was given to us is actually in the description below, and I think that would be my advice to them is to take that. It's supposed to be this guy who is working for this pizzeria. Let's exploit that little bit about what that's like to work in a pizza delivery service and this relationship with, I guess, a demon. It said below something about a demon, so I just wanted to know a little bit more about their point of view towards each other. I got a snippet of it at the very end from the demon. Like, I know where he keeps his blood. I remember the line. I mean, I guess that's the positive. Is the line was memorable.
Line.
And so because the line was memorable, I see the potential for comedy, but I want more of that infused in both of the characters. What do they know about each other, and what's their point of difference?
Okay. And I mean, and that is one of the tough things about this whole process, of being in the competition. I can speak to this creator in that this is a recent Sheridan grad, and the submission they did with their grad film, and it was out of sight.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite.
Beautiful.
But I tried not to refer to the early videos watching.
And I
this,
happen to know that they moved to Vancouver, like it's one of those. And I feel like, not to defend. This is not what that is. But it's like when you look behind this is someone who probably didn't put as much time into it as they would have liked to, and managed to get something through the process when life's happening behind the doors. So that being said, Christopher, is there anything I know you're not really hearing us, but
no, I think I did hear some of that, and I agree.
Right.
Numbers or vote?
So any hands? So where did you put it in your runners up?
I put it fifth. Like
Five. Me
yeah.
too.
So we have 4 from Christopher,
four.
5 from Brandon,
Yeah.
5.
5,
4.
4, and 5 from Jillian. Okay. Whew. FREAKO. 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 Say something, somebody. Brandon, you remember FREAKO?
FREAKO's back, and FREAKO's much improved. For sure. FREAKO's got, I mean, I've always kind of had a soft spot for FREAKO, and I think they're doing a good job. I really love the line when they asked about what they'd like, they talk about what they'd like to eat, and like they don't want to be greedy, but they'd like to eat every day, which is really endearing. Like, it's just like, it really puts you in the place of that character, and also is like really endearing about how optimistic they are in the worst possible situation. So I like FREAKO.
The bonus question gag was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding in the ditch.
Yeah.
I questioned its appealability to the 6 to 8-year-old set.
Sure.
It's a little bit dark in terms
For
of
sure.
its overall concept. So, keeping like pure cartoon comedy in mind, it was not, didn't really hit that mark for me. But I thought the animation was great, and for what it is or what it could be, but probably for an older audience.
Yeah, so that brings us back to our criteria.
Yeah.
6 to 11, funny, potential.
Yeah.
So 6 to 11, we're struggling with that, or are we
Definitely.
saying really?
Yeah.
I would
Can
say
you see it? Can you see it ever being 6 to 11?
No.
I could see this for us in a 6 to 11 space. I thought there was great movement throughout. I thought there was some funny things. It is a little dark, the material. Might need to be just a little bit lightened up, but definitely for us, like the way I think of it, it would be great. And like I said, there was great movement. There was really fun stuff happening.
Cool. Okay.
I mean, for me, one of the positives about this one is that I felt like what he I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What he put in the pitch line was reflected in the materials, and so I
Right.
appreciated that he actually delivered on what he pitched. The post-apocalyptic world thing, I've taken a lot of pitches where it starts off as a post-apocalyptic world, and in general, if it's a 6 to 11 comedy, I wouldn't really recommend post-apocalyptic at all. There's not really a lot funny about that for our audience. When we're thinking about selling something worldwide, we do think about all countries, and some of those countries that we're selling to really are in regions where there are conflicts going on, and we're sensitive to that. And so, you know, purely coming from a commercial standpoint, that's something that I would take into consideration. On the positive side, I like his character design. To Christopher's point, I really like the movement, but I would put this a little bit more in that upper age range, you know, 14 and over category.
Yeah.
Great. Votes?
Hands?
I voted for FREAKO.
I voted, but
You can change your mind right now.
No, I mean I voted for it, but I'm only because I thought we were only allowed to say no to 5. Could I have said no to more?
We're trying to.
I only said no to 5.
I only said no to 5, and so basically anybody who got
You
an
only voted
X,
3 through?
that would be bad.
We're trying. We're moving
I
20
gave it
through.
next.
Yeah.
I gave it next, which is not.
All
a
right.
good
All right. So
five.
yes,
Okay, great.
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And what did you give it? Number
2.
2. Okay. FREAKO!
I know you're pulling for it.
Now, speaking of 14 and up,
Yeah.
Galactic
Oh, wow.
Space Ninja.
Okay.
Another personal favorite.
I love it. I do. It is so weird. The voice, again, was a little hard to understand, but funny. The movement is twitchy funny. I am left wanting to see more.
Yep, that's excellent. Potential. There we go. Christopher?
I have to agree. I thought this was an interesting approach. There was some really funny twitchy movement happening. It was ultimately a bit repetitive for me. I felt like we could have expanded a little bit and shown a few different, you know, it just felt very repetitive in the way it was being presented. But I wanted to see more.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's super visually interesting and fun. Again, it's probably a little bit too old, so like I don't see it going super deep in the competition unless it gets more 6 to 11 friendly.
Right.
And I think, is there one point where he yells, "Damn you, God"?
Yeah.
I think there was a damn in there.
So,
There definitely is,
You
yeah.
definitely can't do that.
Yeah,
So it's more like 11, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah, that's like
Yeah,
12-year-old
exactly.
humor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had one last year that had put a bleep in theirs.
Yeah.
And that immediately kind of threw the judges off. So we've tried to encourage people to stay away from profanity, but I guess to a certain degree of what someone might think profanity is.
I would say Damn you,
God
probably
is
the
built
worst.
into the pitch,
it is.
so that I see that as problematic in the future, even though I want to watch this cartoon.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Any words of advice then to the creator?
I mean, I would consider the 6 to 11 thing for sure. Like, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Is like, what is like an 8-year-old going to get out of this show?
Yeah.
I thought you could play. I put in my notes that it was, you know, lots of humor from what I see as sort of a paranoid ninja kind of character, which I thought could be really fun. Yeah, and I like the designs too. I thought it was cute.
Okay. So show of hands. We got 3 over. We got 4, except for this one.
I'm the dissenting.
So what did you put it? What'd you give
4.
it? 4.
So, well, the design reminded, like immediately when it came on screen, I don't know if this was deliberate or not, but it reminded me of whatever that painting was where the woman in the art gallery was trying to clean it and messed up
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
space or whatever.
Definitely.
Saint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what it
Yeah.
There
was?
was a
Because
saint.
that's what I thought it was,
Yeah.
like the whole sideways kind of wonky face thing. And so that's what I thought he was
Maybe.
going for. And I thought, well, it is like the early days of the universe and talking about God, so maybe that's what he's going for. But I don't know. It was a little, I think, I put it was a little too National Film Board.
For TV.
Yeah.
For TV. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, if something like this were at Annecy, if this were in a film competition, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
For a television series for 6 to 11, not so much, but I could see this being entered into actual competitions at film
sure.
festivals for sure.
Yeah, I can see it like late at night at Ottawa. in the Ottawa Animation
Absolutely.
Festival, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Next one, Gigi.
I like Gigi a lot.
We got a chuckle right off the bat over here from the Hangout.
I love Gigi. Yeah, it's
she's
great.
just super
It's
endearing, for sure.
breezy designs and funny voice, funny dialogue, magic cat. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I thought there was a really, it was really funny. It captured a tone that was a little bit fresh and like fun. I love the bowls stacking up. There was it was a little wonky with the animation. Certain aspects of it, I felt really could have come together more. Her head was, her eyes were a little distracting for me, but.
Okay. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to do this. Sorry, I'm not supposed to do this. So yeah, any construction, any constructive stuff, any.
This is the one for me that I actually put fun exclamation point.
Yeah.
I liked the character and I liked her responses to the questions. They were very direct and entertaining. I saw a range of emotions and depth from the character, and that's, I think, what you really look for when you're looking to build out a character that a show can be built around. You want that range of emotions and places where this character could go to. So I think that that Gigi delivered on that.
Yeah, you really also you put an extra note in yours.
For the emotional range as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're kid-like emotions, right? So she's obviously clearly a kid or a kid character,
Yeah.
which I think would be relatable for
Yeah.
the audience.
It was interesting because this is what I think was the first one that came in for this round, and in the submissions, it was cool. But it didn't do nearly this, and I thought like this is someone who really did look at the materials and really understood what the exercise was.
Yeah. One of the best interviews, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, hands.
And I like her boots.
Everybody says yes, unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, Harry and Shelley. Right, this is also a pizza delivery.
Yeah. One of two pizza delivery.
I felt like I was seeing pizza as a theme.
Yeah.
in a lot of it.
And space too.
Yeah,
I feel there was a
space,
lot of like
pizza.
galactic-y people and
Space pizza.
Yeah.
Space pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Yeah, no, I think the concept is really cute, and you can totally see a series for 6 to 11-year-olds based
Yeah.
on these two characters for sure.
Yeah, feels like a show.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a clear dynamic between the characters. It skews a little cynical in the humor, but in general, I think there's a great dynamic.
So do you think
there.
there's a risk there?
I mean, I would give it a little. I mean, we're just often hearing a lot about heart right now too. So in this one, I would say like this skews a little bit cynical towards like what we've been looking for personally.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay. Jay, reactions?
Yeah, I like it. It's what did I say here? Yeah, I really like how they solved the problem. I thought the questions were answered well, but it's still fun to look at, and it's quite figured out for such a quick turnaround too. I like the collage elements. It's a nice, simple solve. So we get to see some color design too. I really like the design of the characters, and I like the banter. Yeah, it was one of the better comedy duos.
Cool. Christopher, you were going to say something?
Are we supposed to comment on things like lip sync and so forth?
Not so much. I mean, this is as the competition progresses, we get a little more critical about the actual animation. Certainly, in these early stages, we see we're trying to keep it still as broad as possible that way. So not everyone's doing finished animation at this stage. They won't in between things. So it's we do allowances on the visuals. I mean, if you're seeing like really inherently broken design that's not going to play forward, or inherently things that are ill-conceived, but execution we go a little easy on. Execution will, because even last year's winner, their designs changed since they came through the competition. So those are still think of it in terms of when you first pitch something. This is still someone working at home, doing things in their spare time. So we go easy on them in those areas. But again, if it's something that is really, if they're way off base in terms of the conception of something, then we need to tell them that. But things like if it's choppy animation, we're not going to worry too much about that kind of thing right now.
Gotcha.
So that being said, anything from you over there?
It wasn't necessarily one of my favorites. I thought that it would skew in the younger age of 6 to 11 for me, and that. But I thought that there was room for improvement as the characterization. There was a basic fundamental relationship there that I was interested in exploring further.
So would you have any suggestions for where, like if it's skewing young, and we're looking to land this thing firmly in there, where would you take it?
Well, it's a weird thing because I agree. I think someone said something about that there was a little bit of the humor was a little bit older or ironic or something like that, and that's where you have to bring that down. But then I don't know. It was like in a mixed way for me because that would have to match a little bit more of the visuals that I'm seeing in order to bring it to a complete whole for me.
Did you feel it could use a little more energetic voice work? Because I was feeling like if it had more punch.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit more punch, a little bit more effort. I thought it was a little not specific in that way, and so.
Okay, that's excellent. Like that's the kind of constructive criticism that someone can actually react to. Because if you're finding that like there's something inherently funny in there, and there's like it sounds like the script is pretty good, but it's not quite landing in terms of the voice, then that's something they can still work on in the next round. Things like tightening up the humor and the editing, that kind of, those are excellent, like really hands-on kind of creative feedback. If we're feeling that something like this has a fairly an okay concept to begin with, there seems to be a dynamic between the characters that's fairly strong. But then, so where are they missing? You know, if it's those things that are like, if they're 3 out of 5, if they're 4 out of 5, what's that 5 point that'll bring it to the next place? Because we're trying to workshop and trying to give them that kind of information back so that they can improve. So we're saying that we're seeing some cynicism in the voice, and yet also skewing a little young in some context. But maybe punching it up, more lively voice work, because the designs seem fairly strong and the overall conceptualization seems pretty good.
Yeah, it's a fun idea. I definitely want to see more.
But it's more in the execution?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Vote. Show of hands. The room is agreed. What
so
number?
I had this as my first choice.
First runner-up. Okay.
First runner-up.
Cool. Okay. Lionel is next.
I really like this. I thought it was really funny. I thought that they could have done a little bit more with the tail, since they called it out that the tail was like had a mind of its own, and they didn't do that. There was something there about this character locked inside another character that was really funny, and it's just a great start to something that I wanted to see more of.
Cool. Okay.
I thought the designs are quite young, so I mean it could totally be a preschool show as well. I mean a little lion that can't stop roaring. I initially thought before I read the description, I thought he was trying not to throw up.
Me too.
For the first little bit, so I don't know if that's just a play on the animation or there's maybe a way that they could get that across a little bit better. And then I read it and I'm like, oh, he's trying not to roar, which is cute. Like that's a cute thing, right? And you could go back to that in each episode a couple of times depending on what the stories are. But I did feel it was a bit young. So I'd say for an 11-year-old, probably not. But there's potential
does it still land in 6 to 11?
I mean, in its current incarnation, I would say no. I mean, to me, this looks like a preschool character. But yeah.
Yeah, the character design is familiar. It looks like Wow Wow Wubsy. And so I would definitely put this in the preschool category. It's the proportions. It's the head to body proportions is part of it. And the simplicity of the design. It's nice, clean lines. It's very nice, but it is younger. So I was surprised when I read the description then of what the series would be about, that it's somebody who works in an office. I thought, is this trying to be ironic, sort of like South Park, like little cute little characters, but that act older. And so I would actually lose the office part and just let this, as Kirsten suggested, just let it be a cute little kid who has this compulsion to roar and is trying to suppress it. I think that that's more fun and super kid relatable at a young age.
So I guess that's where we get into the question with something like this. Is this, because we've seen things before that if you were to try to age them up, you're going to break it.
Right.
Does this feel like it should live in the preschool zone, and that would be, and trying to do something else with it would be doing it a disservice?
Yeah, I think it feels like it's better as a preschool show for
think
sure.
so,
You
too.
could make it a 6-11 show, but it won't be as strong.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I
Yeah.
think
if
you'd have
it's-
to change the designs too, I think,
Yeah.
to sort of age it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to get more sophisticated with the design, obviously, and take it out of an office and maybe place it in a school situation could be very interesting if you wanted to age it up, because the design does skew younger, but you could make it more sophisticated. There's that set of shows in the U.S. especially where they have younger designs, but then what they're saying is older, which brings out a different kind of humor. Could be something like that, but this is a little too simplistic.
Right. So I mean, at the very least, if it were going to be pushed older, visually is the first place they've got to start.
Yeah.
I think so.
sure.
I mean, the concept of holding your temper is a little young too, but that's easier to age up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know how sustainable that basic concept is.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that in a setting
Right.
and see how that bears out as repeated episodes.
Right.
Some story ideas.
But
and
it's a neat idea.
Cool. Okay.
Vote.
Show of hands. So we're still saying yes
Mm-hmm.
all around.
Great, thank you.
Lenore.
It's a little long-winded, but okay. I really like the design.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for cute goth stuff. I like the concept, and I like her well enough to want to see more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very limited shot. She doesn't move too much, but I like the design. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here to the character and to the concept. Like the little bits of the world we got to see felt really good. And felt like I wanted to know more about the relationship she was talking about. And I think it's a fun, interesting, like an elegant witch is an interesting, unique choice. I think too.
I think it fits in well with the age group as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think girls, 8-9-year-old girls would be, and boys too maybe, but this is a character that would appeal to them, I think.
Yeah. What about you?
I agree. It's one of the pitches that we saw that the designs, the delivery of this audition, and what the pitch line was, they all squarely fit in 6 to 11.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Nice.
it delivered on all of those.
So fairly solid.
Yeah.
Fairly solid.
For sure.
Christopher?
I agree with everyone before me. It was a little cerebral for me and there's not enough movement, so I would need it to open up just a little bit.
Yeah.
In that way and add layer to her. But it was very solid.
Okay. Any suggestions? Any criticism? Any?
Well, with that long-winded comment that I made, I would
Yeah.
say it's better to show than tell. If you could, I would have liked to see some breakaways when she's doing these stories, to
Okay.
just little snippets of what she's talking about, maybe.
Yeah.
To break the static shot, and she could have shown more of the content than just had her talk about it.
I mean, that may be also like it's a part of that is that we were encouraging people not to
do too much
take on too
background.
much that way.
Of course.
So we're trying to lean into the writing, but we did still saw that some creators, regardless, still still did more of that one and push beyond those constraints. So it's I mean, it's a double-edged one that way, but I mean clearly there is some very positive response to it. So show of hands then. Unanimous. All right. Lumberjack. Okay, who's going first? Christopher?
Yeah, so this one presents a little bit of a dilemma for me because I thought that it was one of the most complete and finished sort of pieces of all of them. I know we're not thinking of it that way, but it skews younger. The look and feel of it skews much younger. And yet there was something about it that was really compelling. And if this were a 4 to 6 or even, maybe 5 to 7 thing I could see. I don't know how you take it to the next level, but there was just great animation and movement and character there that I really liked. So it's frustrating for me because I'm not quite sure how you would take this into a 6 to 11 and make it really compelling for that age group.
But again, maybe it's that some of them you just don't break them. Like some of them just are what they are, and that's where we have to like kind of look at it and say, would this survive that aging up? Or like if we're trying to do right by this creator, should you lean into what it seems to be inherently in and of itself?
It's definitely lean into the community of this, little lumberjack living in this that thing, and there could be a lot of humor in that way. But again, you're positioning our character to be the youngest or the scrawniest in this big group so it's a little bit difficult for me to articulate.
Right. Guys?
I agree. Like, it looks great, but it just feels too earnest and simple.
Right.
Like, I think, yeah, you really have to. I think you would need to like slightly different design, probably different voice, like to really age it up. Like, I think it could be punched up, but I think it feels pretty natural where it is.
So if you take the premise and the setting where he is this little runty, like of them all, he's the tiny little thing that isn't sort of even of their race. Would you have to give him? Would you have to tweak his personality to make that, to age that up? Like, would he have to be?
Yeah, or
would
his
it, would
point
it be a
of
more
view.
complicated relationship with his surroundings and his situation then?
Yeah, I think his world would have to be a little bit more dynamic and complex, and then he is just sort of himself.
Can
But
he
how
maintain this positivity if it were aging up?
It seems like he doesn't mind his conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think so.
But is that part of what keeps it young?
The positivity?
Yeah.
Well, look at SpongeBob, one of the most
Right.
positive
Yeah.
characters in the world.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would just have to be funny.
Look at, as you said, SpongeBob or Kimmy Schmidt. I mean, that you have to put it in a way, like, you know, and position it that way in order to make it really viable.
Okay, good note. Awesome. Show of hands. Everybody. Max. Okay. Jump on it, somebody.
Unique designs.
Yep.
And I liked lots of personality in this one. He sounds like a real kid, the way he's answering these questions. I really like that. I think I got to know Max pretty well in this Q&A. I don't know enough about what the show is going to be yet, which is fine, but I definitely want to know Max better.
Okay. So you're seeing enough personality there that you feel
Definitely,
like
tons. Yeah.
there's some life in the character.
Yes.
Yeah, I found if anything the character was so strong, and then little pieces of like the high concept would come in, and you'd be like, what is that? Like, it felt a little tacked on even. Like you don't know enough about it. Like, the character's so engaging on its own though that you kind of do want to hear more about it. But yeah, for sure.
I question where the humor would come from in a character like this.
Okay.
In a lot of ways, because he seemed quite negative, and I get it. Kids are negative. A
Yep.
lot of them are. But in terms of sort of carrying that character over 30 episodes or 40 episodes, it may get a bit much in terms of sort of, you'd have to find a way to have him, you know, have his moments where he's negative, but then also be able to lighten it up and find the humor in the situation.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
What about you, Christopher?
Well, I think everyone really said everything. I thought, you know, I have the same comments. It was, you know, the really interesting animation, those sort of things, but I don't know what this show is yet. I would like to know where we're going from here. I would like to know what the other people might be in this world, you know, like that sort of thing.
So I'm going to do a little bit of a side. It's interesting because everyone's got the same assignment, and everyone and no one's really showing much of the world. Like some are,
Right.
but and yet some of them are giving you a feeling that you've had a better glimpse. So we've got a very strong character here, but for whatever reason, some of them are coming up like this, where it's like we like the character, but we have really no idea what's going on. Some creators seem to find a way to bake it in, even without doing cutaways, that kind of stuff. How? I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking because I'm finding the process kind of interesting, kind of curious here. That some creators seem to, I guess, maybe have more of an intuitive notion that way. I mean, because we've given them all the same tools, we've given them all the same resources, we've given them all the same instructions, and yet some go there, and some don't. Is that? I don't know. There's not really a question in that.
Well,
but
for
it's-
me, with this particular one, what Kirsten said about he feels like a very negative character, I put he's just kind of a neurotic kid. And I think part of it is what he was saying, and part of it is his body language. Like, the animation was actually quite good because I was really getting a body language off of him. But I also see his face. It's the eyebrows, it's the eyes. I don't know what you call that in animation, but when it goes like that, he looks irritated, he looks neurotic, he looks concerned. And so there were a lot of fairly negative traits that I was seeing in him that even if I didn't hear a word he said, if I just played out the video and saw only visuals, I would still feel the same way.
So there's something clearly sophisticated in what we're doing here with this character, but is there enough appeal
Right. Will kids identify with that or just dislike him because he's so
I
neurotic?
think kids would dislike him because I don't think, even if kids do have those traits inside of themselves and those emotions, they don't want a lead character to embody all of the most negative things about themselves. I think without having, using the word aspirational all the time, everybody always has to be 100% aspirational, I would like to see something more appealing and positive about this character mixed in with some of the other neurotic tendencies.
So
And I think to your point that those neurotic, sad, those kind of things are real. So kids want to see that, but you have to temper it with what is real. So there's upbeat moments, there's happy moments, there's things that are exciting. Then you get something very interesting, which is a fully rounded character who has sad moments, neurotic moments, happy moments, and that's real.
So the creator's got to work on the appeal. The creator's got to work on that side. Like we still want to spend 11 or 22 minutes a week with this character, and that's where this. I mean, clearly, like a lot of developments here, a lot of communication is strong, but it's that appeal area that they need to work on.
See, if you smash this one together with Lumberjack just before it, those are two interesting character dynamics. One that we're debating, is he too positive, and this one, is he too negative? But you put those two together, and what's funny is how they would play off of each other. They're very different points of view of the world.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
So show of hands. Yeah, votes. Everybody. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Morwenna.
I thought it was a dude.
Okay.
Well, because the super short hair
Yep.
and the type of jacket and shirt and tie, and so when I read that it was a girl, I'm like, okay.
But maybe that says more about you than the creator.
Maybe it says more about me and I'm an awful person. I didn't really see anything very stand out in this one.
Me either.
No.
I don't know what the series would be. The artwork just...
Yeah, it's a lot of plot, not a lot of character. It's really earnest. It really puts his heart on his sleeve for sure, but it's a little too earnest, I would say.
Okay. Christopher?
I agree with the group.
Okay. So it's a tough fit. This one's a tough fit. Can we say anything constructive here?
It was refreshing to see such a gentle voice.
Yeah.
It was nice to see a sort of shy, gentle character. That was an interesting element. You don't see that a lot. But altogether a bit too talky.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think if you were, just to look at the constraints of the series in terms of the age, and then, again, we're talking about the humor, like I'm not quite sure where you would find humor in this scenario or with this particular
earnestness
character.
is great, but if you
I mean, there could be a show in there for older kids or for teens, but in terms of, looking at what the parameters
6 to 11
were.
comedy, it's not really that, it's not the next SpongeBob.
No.
But it's not to say that there isn't some, there's something, for me, there's some strong appeal in there, but I have a hard time figuring out what it would be. Yeah.
Well, I think also you say in the description that there's a secret that's out of this world, but we're revealing the secret right away. I mean, and we're really giving that away right at the top. So there's nothing to keep. There's no sort of like special thing to keep that. So I think one of the things that you could do is you could maybe have the secret a little bit more hidden, and that was sort of the premise of the whole thing.
Okay, show of hands. What numbers did you give it? Brandon?
3.
3?
I gave it a 3 too.
3? 3?
20. Meaning, I put it through just because I had others.
Okay, so we got a pass.
It got 1 X.
Okay.
Oh,
and one more over here. Okay, cool. Alrighty, Oscar and Dingus.
I'm a huge Ren and Stimpy fan. I think John Kay is great, but I don't think I need to see Gorilla Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
I think that everything I like about this, and there are things I like about this, are unfortunately derivative.
Yeah, it's a strong homage.
Yeah.
Very strong homage, which is challenging to overcome.
It's a pretty standard pairing, and also I would say Rocket Monkeys as well, with 2 dumb monkeys in space where they want to go into space, but still I would say there's a lot there already, which was also already a Ren and Stimpy kind of derivative. But yeah.
Kirsten?
I didn't really have much on this. I thought the designs were cute. There's a potential for a cute pair of characters there. Whether they're terribly original, I don't really know. And then what the stories would be, I guess, would be my question.
Christopher?
I thought you could, I agree with everyone else. I thought you could bring out Dingus's stupidity a little bit more. Do think apes are a little bit of a problem. There's a lot of apes out there right now in many different forms, both in pitches and on shows. So it's not really that original in that way. Maybe think about tweaking it. There was a lot of awkward, weird pauses too. I think that you could tighten that up in order to bring out the humor more.
I will say, I mean, I've seen a lot of John K. Ren and Stimpy type things before that feel like they're very superficially borrowing from that. I felt like there was something. I feel this is a creator that is looking to their influences to figure out their voice. Because this still feels genuine.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
it still
Nothing
feels
wrong with
really
that.
genuine. It doesn't feel like they're just ripping John K.
No.
There's something genuine in it, but they're using that language. They're using those.
But
those
you do
tools.
have a short, mean one and a big, stupid one.
Yeah. Like the format's there, but I as a person, I feel like there's an original voice in here somewhere trying to get out. This may not be the one.
Or it's the starting point.
Yeah. Okay. Show of hands. We got a couple. Okay.
Oh,
we got,
no, sorry.
yeah. So those who said yes to put it through, we got 3. What number did you give it?
5.
5. What number did you give it?
3.
3. Okay. Otto.
Otto just doesn't seem very kid relatable. I would find, like, just coming out of prison.
Oh my God! My note. I'm like, oh, he spent time in prison. Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
Great for
That's fair.
7-year-olds.
The line is delivered hilariously.
Yeah.
But yeah, Skew's old.
Yeah.
I like the manic energy of it. As long as, again, like we were saying about one of the other shows, it's like, where's the redeemable moment? It's okay that he's having a panic attack for the whole thing, and I really enjoyed watching it, but when does that end?
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be great for another set of parameters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the description, he recalls his destructive childhood and questions his own morality. So it's just a little deep, I would say, for this age group.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
I couldn't get past the catnip dealer in any form.
That's the quote of the day.
So even for me, if you would have to take it up to like an Adult Swim level in order for that to be workable for me. There was some interesting things with animation that were okay, that I liked, but I just kept going back to like, wow, how do you make this work like that? It's really difficult.
And I think if you're going older, visually it still feels very kind of traditional cartoon.
Yeah.
Like really traditional, like sort of what we'd be almost what you see in Zootopia and things like that in terms of that kind of a cartoon language. How does that work as an adult thing?
Yeah.
Like it's.
But if the problem specifically is turn of phrase and dialogue, that's fixable.
Yeah.
You know, with another edit, another pass, you could still have that same manic energy and not have it cross any kind of lines for 11-year-olds. The question after that is, was the character likable? Did you want to see more?
Right. Well, we talk about shows. I mean, it was what is it? Oh God, sorry, I'm blanking right now. Some of the Cartoon Network shows right now.
Wait, which one? Steven Universe?
No.
Older? Younger?
The pilot of it was actually they were all on drugs.
That's all of
regular
them.
show.
Oh, yeah.
Regular show in the pilot, the characters actually were all on drugs. And they took the drugs out but left the behaviors.
Right.
Right.
They took the
Yeah.
objectionable stuff out and left the behavior.
But they're still like cool roommates who chill, which is kind of fun for a kid, but this is a neurotic.
Yeah, I'm just so,
Right.
when- but so where sometimes that can survive because
Yeah.
the behaviors are outlandish enough and wacky, whatever.
Yeah.
If you take that out, it's okay. Now this one, would this survive?
Yeah, it's not the same as regular show.
No,
would
I
say,
think
yeah.
this is so baked into the concept that to take that catnip dealer ex-con out, I don't know what you're left with.
Yeah.
You're left with designs.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Votes.
It was a squeak for me.
Yeah. So we gave it 1 here.
Yeah.
So what number did you give it?
4.
4.
4.
4.
3.
3.
5.
5. Okay. PandaCat.
PandaCat.
PandaCat. We got a chuckle out of Christopher. Go for it, Christopher.
This was really funny. I mean, so there was a lot here that I laughed at. That said, some of it was very hard to understand. Really good job setting up a world, though. I don't know where it fall. Like it feels very young to me. So given the idea that we want 6 to 11 or 6 to 12, I think we would have to look at the humor and the world in order to figure out how we get this into that 6 to 12 space. But right now, as is, I did laugh out loud at certain parts because I thought like it was great for probably like a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, like a 5-6-year-old.
Right. Okay.
Yep, I would agree.
Is this one where it's like is this a potential SpongeBob though, where it's that character living in a world that has adults around it?
We'll see. I think there are clues to the broader world in this. I think the voice needs work though, because I didn't understand it the first time through. I had to really pay attention.
Okay.
So even though it's cute, the voice suits the undeniably cute design.
Yeah.
It's a little garbled.
Okay.
Yeah, I had trouble understanding it for one, and it does skew a little young. Like design-wise, it's adorable, but it's young for sure. So the two of those things together kind of made it tough for me.
Yeah. You want to chop away at it?
I gave it a 1. I put in the reject pile.
Okay. In the runner-up pile, we're using positive language, and it was your top runner-up.
It was my top runner-up.
There you go. Anything you want to say?
I didn't really understand it, not just hearing the dialogue,
Right.
but I didn't really understand what it was trying to achieve. About halfway through all of these, I stopped reading the description and thought, well, that's not very smart because I'm trying to get it to live up to something. So after I watched this, I thought, what in the world was that supposed to be about? And when it said about cooking adventures, I thought, wait a minute, I really missed that. I'm going to go back. So it's the only one I watched a second time. And there was a lot of listing of ingredients and dishes, but I didn't really get an indication of cooking adventures.
Yeah.
So
No, I didn't either.
it just didn't land for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So cute character. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if you play up the dichotomy of a cat and a panda, maybe that's enough, and take out the cooking adventures, because I didn't get the cooking adventure really
Right.
either.
Right. Maybe trying to be too
I
many
don't think
things.
you need, for this space, for 6 to 11, I wouldn't do an animated cooking adventure.
Right.
I would do a live action cooking adventure. But so if you played up that dichotomy of being a cat and a panda trapped in a body, like there could be something there.
Yeah. Just lean into PandaCat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lean into PandaCat. That's the advice.
Panda cat.
All right, hands. We got 2 here. We got 1 there. Number?
1.
No,
1.
1. Okay. Cool. Pepper and Monterey.
I love the designs.
I thought this was really cute.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
And as a buddy show, A Ghost and a Black Cat, again, a little gothy, a little kind of creepy. I can picture, creepy backgrounds and stuff, so I kind of like that. Pepper's, the humor relies a lot on Pepper being kind of a jerk. I don't mind that, but I can see that being problematic down the line, maybe. He's a bit, I love them, the gag of them both eating the same food, or was it?
Yeah,
drinking
one
tea.
eat,
Where it goes
drink
through the
tea,
ghost
one
and he.
through.
That was
That's
funny.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What a great bit.
But if you're going to be a jerk, you still got to show some heart.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Yeah.
a little harsh in the dynamic.
Little.
but
Yeah.
But that's easy to tone out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
That sounds
think,
more like
yeah.
there's some tweaking here,
sure.
and
Yeah.
as long as they don't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
Christopher?
I agree with everyone, and I would add maybe I couldn't tell if it was like a ghost of a fish, which could be interesting if you went there.
yeah.
If it was a ghost of a fish that Pepper ate or something like
Right.
that, then
That's more fun.
it could be really funny.
Just like
And
how
that was-
Caspers are really, really dead Richie Rich.
Okay, cool. What about you?
I like the cat and ghost. I like the designs. I felt like their personalities were different enough, and their written responses were very on character for what I was seeing on screen. I was getting a good sense of the characters through their responses. yeah, I was really entertained. That was, and especially the visual gag of, yes, we eat the same things, and to follow it up instead of seeing it at the same time, then it's followed up with the visual gag. That's what surprised me.
Right.
I like those type of surprises.
So again, so as a creator, then you're looking for, you've got some confidence in this person in terms of being able to want to see more on what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So votes. Everybody.
Straight
All
through.
right. Okay. Fill in space. Okay.
So fun.
The dog voice creeped me out every time it came on. I thought it was so weird, like, or just out of context or something like that, or edited weirdly, but other than that. I mean, a shy astronaut, is that what I wrote? I thought that's kind of a cute idea.
She's biting her lip here. Come on, what is it?
I said bored.
Oh.
Not sure what the series would be about. He's an adult astronaut, so if this would be a kid's series, he'd have to be younger. That's about as positive as it got.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's very.
I mean, Hatchet Man over
I
here.
know, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I
Good.
wasn't, I guess maybe it was because, you know, we'd watched about 20 of them already, and so when I got to this one, I was just like, you better entertain me. Either that or you're
Sorry,
out.
everyone who's left.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
He's
it
on
is
down,
towards
it's
the
like-
end.
Simon
Yeah.
Cowell of our
I don't mean to
All right, you know
be.
what? No rotating judges. We're keeping Jillian.
But you know when I like something, it means I really like it then.
I like,
Christopher, someone bring some sunshine.
I like the design a lot. Actually, it's refreshingly different. The movements are different than stuff you usually see. So I saw potential in the look of the show. Yeah, the dog voice is a little glaring.
Yeah.
And again, the answers rambled a little, so it was a little talkier than I
Yeah.
would have liked. I mean, it explained a lot about the show, but again, that's a funny thing too. I didn't read any of the descriptions. I didn't realize he was supposed to be an adult astronaut. I assumed he was just a big boy.
It's funny. I laugh at you, but I actually felt the same way. I wasn't sure what the show would be. He looked like a man boy. The dog kind of freaked me out. He had the two eyes on the side, which is not a big deal. Like sometimes that's a stylistic thing that people do. But I don't know where this is going or what's happening here. So I would want to see really clear definition around that. I would want someone to take their time and think about this world a lot and probably adjust a little bit his proportions because he's like the size of a man, but he's acting like a boy. Like it just was really weird.
Yeah, so something's not communicating properly there. That's what we're presenting is like these aren't. I mean, these things are not reading properly. We're trying to get these guys to a place where they're communicating what's in their head well to us, and something you don't have to feel badly about it because you're pointing out what's not working yet.
So did he build a robot dog? Because at the beginning, doesn't he say something about, I didn't build this or something like
I
that?
didn't build it, yeah.
Yeah, he's
So-
adopted.
Okay, because when I first saw just the visual before, you know, I started listening, I was like, is that an armadillo or an aardvark? Like I didn't know what it was. It wasn't reading as a dog to me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. What do you say?
Still send him.
We got 4 and
2.
2. So 4 through. Jillian gives it a 2.
So who's what?
Everybody else says yes.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And Jillian gave it a 2.
Got it.
Where are we? Robo, Ninja, and Princess MERFAIRY. Anyone want to comment?
I mean, I'd love to see more. I don't know. Like, it seems like a fun world, and their dynamics fun. I don't know.
It felt like a guy putting all kinds of things that he would like to see in a show together, and like kind of into one thing that would never go anywhere.
Big old reject for me. I give it a 6.
My note.
Yeah, I give it a 6 too.
My note was everything and the kitchen sink.
Ooh, let's do a show about the kitchen sink. That sounds like the most interesting part.
Christopher?
I'm going to be a little contrary, so I get totally what you're saying. There was something bizarro, wacky about it that I was like, maybe it would work with some, like, you know, sometimes these things, like, do work out. But yes, it did feel a little like throwing everything in there, so I totally understand what the other judges
I'm
are
way
saying.
more interested in Princess MERFAIRY.
Yeah, there's just, I mean, there's everything that you need. Yeah. but there's a lot in there, and I think that you would have to really like establish the world clearly if you were going to do that, why this all happened.
Yeah.
And what else did I write? There was some cute dynamic play back and forth between the characters, but yeah, it's a harder one, right? Because it just has everything in it, but.
So Brandon, do you want to?
Oh, it's a mess, but I'd love to see more. Like,
So I'll jump in here because Sam will be fine with this. You're all right. You're all right. Sam Chu is a phenomenal.
That's Sam?
That's Sam, yeah.
Shut up.
And it's
Yeah.
basically
What?
he sat down to do everything in it that
Yeah.
it's exactly
Deliberately?
that. It's exactly
Oh, yeah.
that.
It's an exorcism.
Exactly that. It's like I'm gonna make all the things that go in a boys show and all the things that go in a girls show
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just stick it all together and then just
Oh,
give them a voice.
Sam.
And that's it. And he said to me like eviscerate me. Like he expects it. He expects
Yeah.
to be eviscerated for this and to not make it any further. And this was a very
Oh,
similar
Sam doesn't
dynamic
wanna
to
win.
last year when he
Yeah.
kept his joke was that like I had asked him to put something in and he was doing it as like and his characters were bitching at me in the actual exercises last year about having to go through this.
Yeah.
So so thank you, Sam, once again for trying something out that may or may not work. Show of hands.
I'm doing
One
it.
from Brandon. One from Christopher.
Do I need to put it
Yeah,
through
I've-
just because
I've
I've
already
already
voted
said no?
against
to
No,
five?
you don't. You don't.
Okay,
I'll do the math later. I'll figure it out. So
Sorry, Sam.
they're
I'll
in the
apologize
runners up.
to him.
They're in the runners up nebulously over here.
I ranked
She
it
needs to be
2.
MERFAIRY. She has to have wings and like a mermaid tail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is a mermaid
There was
tail
a
underneath
distinct
it.
lack
Well,
of
then I wanna see
wings.
the
There was a
mermaid
distinct
tail.
lack of wings.
So there was a two?
Yeah,
There was a
I
2
had
over
it
here.
2.
Okay, let's keep going. I'll figure that one out when we do the math.
Her mermaid flippers can
Sir
be
Strawberry.
on the back like
Yes.
wings.
Sir Strawberry.
Now you're excited.
Yeah, now I'm excited. It's got me talking
wait a
about the
minute, wait a
MERFAIRY. Let's go back. MERFAIRY, MERFAIRY, MERFAIRY.
Okay, Sir
It's a
Strawberry.
Princess MERFAIRY.
Yeah.
That's true. See? It makes all the difference
Now
in
you
the
know.
world.
Now you know that it's Sam. You're thinking
Okay,
about
can I
it
go
differently.
back?
Do you want to give it a hand?
No, I don't.
Okay, Sir Strawberry. Puppy night.
Tight design, tight animation.
Yeah.
My comment was that puppy night, and that's kind of all I got. I mean, it's so short; it was kind of really hard
Too short.
to get anything out of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought the design was cute,
Okay.
and I don't. Well, and also I don't know what. I guess. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Sir Strawberry's his name. I get it. Sorry, that was dumb. But yeah.
Okay. So, but
Who is Sir Strawberry? But it's him.
you seem to want to see more.
Yeah, I didn't vote against it.
Okay. Okay. Christopher.
Really good design, really good characterization. What's not to love puppies and knights? So it skews a little young for me. I think that it felt a little bit like Legend of Zelda, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that look. So I don't know how you would take it. And when you inherently, we just came from the project before that was all these things combined. Now you have puppies and knights combined. That feels younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more. I like the character. With the gaming sounds and I mean, I did happen to see the submission video too. I am curious about what the world is because, as far as I've noticed with the age group we're targeting here, they prefer playing classic games more than they do watching the story unfold. So
Right.
I don't understand why it's a gaming theme
Okay.
and what that part of the story
So that
is going
becomes
to
the
be.
risk they're taking.
Yeah. So I'm curious, but
So it has to have a life that is beyond just the gaming.
has to overcome that
Yeah.
Trappings.
simplistic,
Okay.
which is totally possible.
Yeah.
It's a bridge show, really. I mean, it feels like a bridge show.
Yeah.
If anything.
Cool. Cool. You.
Well, I felt like the questions were answered to the bare minimum, and so I really wanted more out of the answers so that I could get to know him. I mean, it was only 49 seconds long. I wanted more, so I guess that's a good indication that I did want to see more. Now, just in the next round, bring more character, bring more world.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And determine what the age group is. If it's going to be a bridge show for 4 to 7, which to me is what the character design is saying right now, then live in that world. If you're trying to do a 6 to 11 show, then I think we need to build up the character a little bit more, maybe modify the character design, and show how Sir Strawberries fits into the world. What are the other characters that would surround him?
Okay, cool. Votes? Votes? Yep, everybody. All right, Stanley.
Inspired.
I like Stanley, but I don't think it's a kid's character.
No.
Is he a scientist? I couldn't.
I love him.
Yeah.
Well, you got a bit of a cat thing, though.
I mean, he resents his self-awareness and wants to go back to being a normal cat. It's deep.
Yeah, it's a mind bender.
That's
Yeah.
what I didn't get, because I thought in the description it said that he is a human. He used to
Yeah.
be human, but he turned into a cat. So wouldn't he miss being human
Yeah,
instead of
the
missing
missing
being
being
a
a
little
cat.
carefree kitten? Because
Yeah.
he wasn't a carefree kitten before, so clarification.
Yeah,
Just needed.
I agree. There was something
Yeah.
in there that was, I don't know, they need to clarify in there either the description or in where it's going.
Yeah, which one is
it?
it?
Seems to be kind of taking a different tack from the description.
Perhaps Stanley is a combination of a human and a cat and misses both? Who knows?
Who cat?
But at the same time, it's almost like someone made a show for you.
It is kind of science cat. It doesn't feel 6 to 11, but I do like the simplicity of the designs.
Yeah.
I really do, and I don't know. This still image right now, I'm getting something. I don't know what I'm
Stanley
getting.
is looking
but
into your soul.
He really is. It's like he's penetrating my brain right now, and I'm loving it.
How do you feel, Christopher? What does Stanley do for you?
Well, I love this actually. I don't know if it's 6 to 11. Feels older. Feels like old school older, like Dr. Katz, like that sort of thing. But it's really funny, and there's a lot of good like dialogue in there. I'm trying to think how you would make it fit into a 6 to 11 world. I don't know.
It depends on what Stanley does in his lab,
Yeah.
if indeed he is a scientist. Because if it was exciting enough,
Yeah, if he was like a mad cat scientist or
Yes.
something like that,
Right.
right? That would be kind of cute.
Yeah, because there is a very, I mean, the pace of it right now, the tone of it right now is very even and very. Like it's, I don't see the wacky, and of course I hate using that word, but it's still valid. Like it's. So does it need like if we're gonna do this, does it need to be punctuated by energy? Does it need?
I think to fit for a 6 to 11-year-old audience, it does need more energy. Obviously, the exercise here wasn't a movement exercise, but I think that it would need to be more wacky than it is right now. I think it's too subtle right now. The sense of humor is something that we as adults would get.
Find funny, yeah.
But I think for a kid 6 to 11, it needs to be a little bit more overt in its humor.
But everybody loves it. Basically.
I love
what
it.
I'm seeing is that everybody in the room.
If
really
this
likes it.
were
Oh, I
on
need-
Adult
I
Swim,
need
I'd be
more.
watching it.
yeah.
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 Okay, so votes. Yeah, everybody. TK and Frisky. TK.
So yeah, we got one of two characters.
Yeah.
I thought TK was showcased well. The designs to me feel overcomplicated, a little stiff, but when he does break into extremes, they're quite good. It's quite exciting. So I'm willing to go with it. And I thought I got a lot of character out of him. I like the neurotic, and in this he's playing sort of the so-called straight man off of the questions, off of Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that that's going to be his relationship with the other character, but it's hard to know.
As an aside, again, in the leading up to this, Brad communicated back to us a lot about this, like, does he go with one character, does he go with two? And we said very simply, if it's a baked-in duo the way Sonny and Bentley was inherently, then you find a way to showcase both.
Right.
If it is that TK is your main character, like in that, then stick with TK. So he chose, even while like, so I guess we had it listed as TK and Frisky. He then, even when he submitted it, just decided he was going to double down.
So this
on
is
TK.
maybe okay.
So we're going to stick with TK as
Interesting.
the main character.
Okay, important distinction.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was endearingly neurotic as opposed to some of the other conversations we've
so
had.
not off-putting.
No, he seemed cute. I liked his tail popping off at the end as the embarrassing. I'd like to see more.
Brandon, anything to say?
Yeah, I think there were some fun comedy moments here. Some of it, like the neurosis is tough because it's still like even a little bit neurotic. Sometimes it's harder to relate to as a kid sometimes, or to aspire to as a kid. And I found it a little bit tough to see where the show goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well, that was where I got stuck.
Okay.
But there are fun character moments for sure.
Christopher?
Everything everyone said. Fun character design, a little bit overworked. Would want to see where the show goes. Need to love the characterization of, like I believe someone said about a little neurotic, but okay neurotic, not like over the top neurotic.
Okay, so it seems to be landing in a good spot with
Yeah.
that neuroses as an aspect. Okay, cool. Votes? Everybody. The strangest Neville.
I find the concept more interesting than the character right now for this one, and it is a concept that we had kind of seen before as well. If the ongoing thing is the brain thing, I don't even know. But if it is, I think it's what's unique with that relationship still, rather than just the brain being able to give away his embarrassing moments.
And you didn't feel that the Q&A gave you enough?
I think, well, it helped, but still I think I want to see a little bit more because it felt like I had seen this dynamic before between a boy and his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it was I like the designs. And I think there's potential.
Yeah, there's some strong execution for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, as well executed. Yeah.
I didn't love I thought the voice of the brain was really jarring with how it looks on screen.
Okay.
And I thought he's talking about like kissing girls and stuff like that, which is, you'd have to think about what you would be able to talk about. I think, when you get into kissing, that skews older in terms of subject matter.
Okay. You? Trouble.
No. Are you calling me trouble?
Yes,
or
I'm
are you
calling
saying
you
he's
trouble.
in
I'm
trouble?
calling you
I'm not
trouble.
trouble. I was a little bit confused about where this creature in his brain comes from because in the description it said that it was about an alien, or it said something about him being a wizard, or he has a secret. Something about, doesn't it have something to do with wizards?
Yeah.
So I was expecting something wizardly, and that wasn't in there. In all fairness, like I have to say, I'm very familiar with these creators, and I'm a big fan of both of theirs, so I had very high expectations for this. And so part of me wants to see them go through, because I really like them a lot. I like the designs. They would need to be modified, I think. I mean, once you get into animation and final designs. But as far as the concept goes, is it about this, his brain is saying something different than he is?
Yeah.
Are we going that
I'm not sure.
bizarre? Or is this about he's in a family of wizards? I want to know what the show is about because I wasn't quite getting it from this. And also, I have to say, like, the design of his shorts just really kept bothering me. It really did. Like, shorts don't stand up like that. So each time he would start to close his legs, I felt like I was going like that. I'm like, I don't want to see him there. Seriously.
At the same time, we don't mind if you bring your knowledge of the creators already. You can have a biased vote.
They're very strong. I mean,
They're great. They're
you
great.
know
They're
them,
great
right?
creators, yeah.
I love them, and I want to see them succeed. I think that they would need some guidance, though, on the series premise and how to deliver that in characters.
Okay. Christopher.
I don't really have anything to add more than everyone said. I think for me the biggest thing was I was really confused about the wizards, and I was unsure what the show would be. If it would be about being the odd man out in a family of wizards, or if it would be a show about your brain coming to life and sort of taking over and having conversations in a very visual way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Votes. Everybody.
I'd say that's probably my biggest note for everybody is if you're going to do a line description, a log line of the series, deliver on it. You've got a minute, 2 minutes to deliver on that, and to not take advantage of that is a really big missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good note.
All right, Yen and Yak.
Well, it appeals to my weird 11-year-old.
You mean your inner weird 11-year-old or your actual? Do you have an 11-year-old?
No, my
Your yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, mine are older than that now
yours are a
too.
little older.
It's a bit ugly. I like that though.
Uh-huh.
I could go with it.
Yeah.
It's a bit gross, but I could deal with that too. I just wonder if it skews a bit older generally.
Yeah, I could kind of buy the dynamic with the two of them, and they could be cute together until his beard came to life, and then it kind of lost me in terms of. Well, I just don't think you needed it really.
I kind of liked the scary beard.
Sure, but it's either
but I
then
was scared.
have him have a beard that lives on his face and not have the yak.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
got
kind of
double
like
side
yeah,
cat,
it's
yeah.
like one or the other
Yeah.
in some ways.
Okay.
I really like the dynamic he's got with his yak. It's a great dynamic.
Yeah, it's what I mean, but if he just had the yak,
beard
that
isn't
would be
necessary.
fine.
I don't
Yes.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
Or as a throwaway gag, but like ongoing, I was like, I just want to see the yak in him, not
Yeah,
the
like if
beard.
you introduce the
And it
beard,
kind of
it's
went to a
always
dark
there.
place
Yeah.
with the beard.
Yeah, but I do think I like the designs. I don't think like for 611, I don't think they're too ugly, and I do like that it's a little bit edgier, but not too edgy. Like I think it is solidly in there, the high
Yeah.
end 611. Yeah, I would say.
You?
Yeah, I like the duo of him and his beard. I got immediately what their dynamic is, and then when he threw to the yak, I'm like, okay, so he's the big quiet one, I guess. But I really wanted to hear more from the yak. I want to know more about him and their dynamic. And then at the very end, I felt like there was a missed opportunity when he says, you know, he has this opportunity to say what's so special about him, and he says, well, look, I get to hang out with these guys,
Right.
and the look on his face, I don't know what it was, but I slightly couldn't tell, is he just saying that like these two guys are really scary and weird and I kind of have to say this? Or he really does feel
yeah, I
lucky to
took
be
it as
with these
genuine.
guys. I
Yeah.
genuinely couldn't tell which way it was going, but I immediately wanted to know more. Like, okay, if that's what's special about you is that you get to hang out with these guys, tell me more about these guys,
Yeah.
because I want to know
Yeah.
why you feel that's special.
Okay. Okay. Christopher.
I agree with everyone actually. This was very interesting for me, and I want to see more. And I don't think that you need the beard gag. so yeah.
So basically, like pick one. Pick beard. Pick
Yeah, I'd
yak.
go with the yak. Yeah.
Yeah. So some
I
of
think
us
for
are
this
yak.
for this age range, yeah. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
an animal side.
There's just less you can do with
cute.
the beard that's attached to you as
Yes.
well, like story-wise. Yeah.
It's kind of always there.
Yeah.
It's kind of always there.
It does write you into a bit of a corner.
It does. Yeah.
If you shave it off,
Yeah. That's
what
one.
does that
yeah.
mean?
You can only
Is
do
it
that
still
once.
killed
yeah.
it.
Is it still
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, and if you grow a new one, is it a new character?
Ooh, wait,
Right?
spin off.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2. Votes. We're saying yes. Okay, all across the board. And Willa. Who's going first? Christopher?
This one was a bit of a harder one for me. There wasn't much there, in my opinion, and I wasn't quite sure if I'm remembering this correctly. I wasn't quite sure where the whole witch thing came in, and then they qualified it with a coastal witch, which was like, what's that? So,
Come on, Christopher. Don't you know your coastal witches from your inland witches?
So I had a bit of a difficult time with this one. There wasn't a lot of movement. I wasn't quite sure what this show was about.
Yeah, she's not telling us enough.
Nope.
Yeah, for sure. I found it confusing, a little too earnest, and also just they could use more comedy in general. I just felt like it was kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, deadly serious.
Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting because we want to make sure that the comedic stuff has heart.
Yeah.
At the same time, this earnestness is also a bit of a death knell.
Yeah.
If it doesn't lie, we still need this to be funny.
Yeah.
And there could be a great story in here, and there could be a
Absolutely,
good
there
core
could
and
be
a
a great
strong character.
Avatar series
Yeah,
or something that's a
the
little bit more
nature
serious.
magic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in today's market, like if you're pitching action, you're pitching action comedy. If you're pitching this is what we're talking about. Is that these things are going to
Well,
live
yeah,
this
and
way.
the parameters were for comedy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure that this one.
So would you say that this thing? I mean, is there something in here that you think would live elsewhere outside the 611 comedy?
I think this is more, I mean, maybe I'm just reacting to the character designs and the Bee Gees, but it does feel more action adventure or adventure
Or
comedy.
just big, or a story arc, one of these bigger sort of
Absolutely.
story-driven series. Like
And should it live
holiday
there, or
special.
should it try to be this? Like
Well, she's very appealing, but I think if you are going to bring in comedy, I think she would need a little bit of work on her face. Maybe it's just that particular pose, but there's nothing necessarily that's reading comedic about her posing or facial expression. So I want to know what's so funny about her.
Yeah.
Not just the situation that she would find herself in, but what's so funny about her.
Right. So this creator has to make some decisions in terms of what this is. Is this something that they want to shift into the 6 to 11? And in that case, they need to embrace things aesthetically. They need to embrace things in terms of delivery and the actual punching up, making it funny, or do they stick to what this thing seems to be, which may not be this?
Yeah.
And it sounds as though that's a question that this
Yeah.
creator has to answer.
Yeah.
So hands? And Brandon?
2.
2. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this. We'll see if we ask you back again.